Welcome. What I'd like to do in this video is go through the password reset in a Cisco router. Same process is going to be used for the 2600s to 2800s. We can do both. Really doesn't take that long once you've got the process down. The secret to resetting, or two secrets actually, to resetting Cisco password. One is physical access. The other is knowing the boot process here. And the boot process in a Cisco router, we go through post. The configuration register is then checked. Configuration register tells the system where to look for things. And the configuration registers, let me get one in here. The configuration registers here, the default is 2102, the one here at the top, which says ignore break, boots into ROM if initial boot fails. If it doesn't find the iOS, it's going to go into ROM mon mode. 9600 console baud rate is the default, is the value for most platforms, and the 9600 is something that you'll have to configure frequently in the terminals. What we're going to change this to, this is the default, and you notice it doesn't address the specifics of NVRAM. What we're going to do is change that configuration register to 2142. Ignores break, same as the 2102. Boots into ROM if initial boot fails, same as the 2102. 9600 baud, same as the 2102. But in this case, it's going to ignore the contents of non-volatile RAM. Non-volatile RAM configuration file in VRAM is where the password is stored. So if we ignore that, we can then get booted up into user mode, and from user mode we can go into configuration. We can go into enable mode and change the password. Actually, copy the startup config into the running config. We now are in with the password that we don't know, and we can change that password. So let me get rid of this with that. So that goes through this. Where is the configuration register, flash, TFTP server, ROM, no. Load the iOS. If configuration register find the iOS, if it's no, then it's going to go look in flash, TFTP, and then ROM. If it is yes, then we're going to load the operating system. Then it's going to look for NVRAM, find the configuration file. That's what the 2102, load the configuration file, and the 2142 go into setup mode is all about. What I have here is a packet tracer, obviously, with a 2620 router and a 2811 router. So what I'm going to do is go down here and connect my RS-232 to the 2600 to the console port. Then go into open my computer, go to the desktop, and now we're going to go into terminal mode because we've done that. 9600 is the default, 8 data bits, no parity, 1 stop bit, and flow control none. I'm connected to the router. I don't have a whole lot of configuration on it, but I did set the password. So if I go into enable, and I set it at a random, so I don't have any idea what it is. How can we find out what our current configuration register is? We can use the show version command from here, go to the bottom, and we can see that it is 2102. So now we need to get the system into ROM mon mode, and to do that, when we start the Cisco router, we're going to use a control break from a Windows machine in order to make that happen. What I'll do is go back here to the physical of the router, and turn it off, turn it back on, get to my PC, I hope in time. And go through it again since I didn't stop it soon enough by fiddling around. Okay, I've got it turned off. I'm going to turn it back on, and then I'm just going to drag this one over here. And what I want to do here is use a control break, and I'm getting into ROM-MON mode. ROM-MON mode, the commands that are available, we can use the Cisco help. We don't have a whole lot that we can do here. One of them is confreg, so we can configure the registry, and we want to configure it to 0 by 2142 because we want it to use the iOS, but we want it to ignore the startup configuration mode. Once we do that, we can just type reset, and it will restart the router. Once it's done that, it's decompressing the image right now into RAM, obviously. We're now into configuration mode. Do I want to use the configuration dialog? And the answer to that is no. So now we can get right into enable mode. We can show the running configuration, and there's nothing there, obviously. We can show the startup configuration, and you can see there actually is a password here. Here's the hash that is set for it. So in order to now change this thing, I'm going to do what I normally don't do and copy the startup config to the running configuration. And now when I show the run, I have the password there. I should now be able to go into config mode and change the password. I'm just going to change it to secret, enable secret, secret, and then we'll go back to enable mode and copy run. Now we'll go the other way, start, if I can spell it, to the startup configuration file. The next thing we need to do is to change back to the 2102. So we can go back into the configuration mode, and config register CON tab gets me there, and so I want to go back to 0 by 2102. What I can do here, just to show you, we can show the version again, and when I get down here to the bottom it says that I'm currently 2142, but when I restart it'll be 2102. So we can try a reload from here. Do we want to do that? We'll go through the compression again and wait until it starts and see if our new secret password works. We didn't go into setup mode, so enable, if I can spell it right, and secret, S-E-C-R-E-T, was the password. So I'm back to where I can now use the router. If you forget the password, you buy a used router, can't get into it a number of times when you would use this. The configuration registers are exactly the same for the 2811. I'll go through it very briefly. What we need to do is now go connect our RS-232 port to the console port of this thing. Bring it in here. Press return to get started. And again, I don't know the password to it. So what I need to do is go through the restart, change all of that again, and I'll do that here just in a second. So what I'm going to do is turn it off, turn it back on. Sorry, got the wrong machine, still had the old console. So we'll turn it on, bring this one in, do the control break again and get into ROM-MON mode. Still have the same function, so we can config configuration register this time, because the 2142 is the one that says don't. I'd put the 2102 back in, which didn't do me a whole lot of good. So I'm going to use 0 by 2142 on this one, and then let's go back in and turn it off and turn it back on. And hopefully this time we'll get ourselves into setup mode and go through exactly the same procedure. We're going to say no here. No. Enable. Config T. Show. Start. And you can see that there is a password, and you can see that it's different than the other one if you remember the hash. I don't. So we can enable secret again. And in this case, since that's the only thing that I did, actually what I should do first is copy, start, run, so that I get it into the configuration mode. Do copy, start, run, and now enable secret, and then do copy, run, start. Go to the startup config, and we'll do an end, and then we will reload again. We'll confirm the reload and see if we actually made it work. I was just going through again. The pound sign is decompressing the image. What I forgot to do was, I want to go into here, enable. So what we want to do is config T, conf register 0 by 2102, and now we'll reload, confirm the reload, and we'll see what we get this time. Maybe I've actually got them all in the correct order. Stubby pencil and a piece of paper is always a handy thing to have here if you want to do that. So now I can use my secret password. Going through all of that, you've seen it all with all the warts on it. That yes, it's easy to not get what you think you're getting. Checklists are a handy thing to have when you do these things. I hope this has been useful, and thank you for watching.